All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start with our journal. In your packet, like I said, your cut and paste packet, you tore out and have ready this sheet here, okay? And in our journal that you have, where we've taken all of our notes, we're gonna flip it to the back, and we're gonna work from the back to the front, okay? So on the very back sheet, which is the cardstock page, we're gonna work on this one here. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this out. You can cut it out however you choose. If you have a paper cutter, you can use that to get nice clean lines. And I'm gonna go ahead and glue it here, okay? So taking your glue stick, again those corners, and you're gluing this here. And this is just a fun little read for you, okay? And you can, if you have your corners sticking up, you can always push your corners down by adding a little bit more glue to make sure that your page sticks pretty well, okay? So this is, I'm not going to read it to you, we're not going to take that time, but this is just a fun little bit you can read. This is a great conversation piece whenever you're working on a client and they're sitting there, their feet are soaking, and sometimes it may be a little bit awkward since you're at their feet level. So just something to start a conversation. You can say, hey, did you know that, okay? So always having something to conversate with your client about, something interesting kind of to break the ice is great. And so this is kind of a little icebreaker for you to read and learn and keep in mind anytime that you're working with a client. You can go ahead and pull this out, okay? So we're going to go ahead and title this icebreaker. Icebreaker. Because with clients, you always need an icebreaker. And whenever we're doing our little notes here, you can do any little doodles or add any notes that work best for you, okay? So now that we have this here, we're gonna go ahead and flip our page, and we're gonna be working on this side here. Now, because of the way this thing is, if you wanna work with it open and laid flat, that's fine. It's good, works good for me. Whatever works for you. So we're gonna be here, okay? You're not gonna need your scissors and your glue anymore this week, but you will need your markers or something to make notes with. So what we're going to do is we're gonna get started with our hand soak, which we call our manicure bath. And I'm going to lay it out. We're going to do the service together. Again, you're going to be doing this on yourself since we're not able to do on each other right now. Typically, we would do on each other, time it out and everything like we would in a normal service, but we're going to work it a little different, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to do our title. Then we're going to do list the supplies that we need and list the steps and any notes that we have in need for, okay? So we're going to do, let's go ahead and do manicure bath. And excuse my hands, y'all, I wash my hands so much and use so much hand sanitizer that they're so dried out, it's so bad. All right, so we're gonna do manicure bath, okay? A manicure bath, okay? And so with this, we're going to do our supplies or needs list. Okay. Then we're going to do our steps and our notes. Okay. Whatever you need to write down to remember this, you go ahead and do so, okay? All right, so needs list, okay? We need our bowl and our liner, our processing cap, okay? We need a bowl. our processing cap. It is a processing cap, but we call it a liner. Okay, you obviously need warm water. And I'm going to list my supplies in the order that I will be introducing them or using them in my service. Okay, you need your beads, you need your product, your I guess you can call it your it's a tablet, but we're just going to call it the manicure bath product. Simply because sometimes it doesn't come in form of a tablet. It can come in form of a liquid or little petals or anything of the sort. So you don't necessarily have to use this particular brand. Okay, so you can use it with anything. Again, optional if you wanted a container to pour it in, you don't have to. And then your towel. So those are the things that you need to perform this service. Obviously, any and every time that you do any type of service, you want to wash hands and sanitize, and then disinfect your area and supplies before and after. Okay, so the steps are going to be: we're gonna do it. After we do it, you gonna watch me do it. We're gonna do it together, or you watch, take your notes, and then do it afterwards. Is fine. You're going to write down in your own words what your steps are. Okay, I'm going to start you off and then you're going to finish it off, and then you write down any notes that you need to make sure that you remember for next time that you're looking at this. Okay, so we have a needs list. Okay, our steps. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to set up station, and I always say professional. Set up professional station. And the reason why you want it professional, because you always want to make sure that it's aligned, it's straight, it's neat, it's perfect looking. It's I like to call it the Instagram worthy type of picture. If you were to take a picture of your setup, you don't want to just have stuff just thrown everywhere. You know, you want it to be lined up and neat and organized, so it looks like, you know, it's professional. Okay, it looks like somebody wants to sit there instead of looking all crazy and unsanitary. Okay, so you want to set a professional station. Okay, the next thing that you want to do is that you want to make sure to clean, and I'm just gonna do clean to cover any cleaning, sanitizing, disinfecting your workstation, your hands, your client's hands, your supplies, just in general. Okay, just clean everything needs to be clean. Okay, and then you want, then this can be flipped back and forth, obviously, because you need stuff to be clean before you set it down, but everything needs to be clean. Okay, so you know, with everything. So the next thing that you want to do is you're going to add warm water to bowl. Okay, and then you're going to add beads. I guess I'll continue all the way through. Then you're going to add product. You're going to dip hands. Okay. Set up professional station. Clean before and after everything. Add warm waters to the bowl. You're going to add the beads. Add the product. Dip the hands, whether yours this time or next time your client's. Okay. You're going to let it soak. When you take a bath with your whole body, you soak in the bathtub. So we call it a soak or a bath. Okay, so you're going to soak. Okay. After soaking, okay, and this usually is going to go for 5 to 10 minutes, depending on what the product manufacturer says on the label. After you soak, then you're going to remove hands. There goes my light. And you're going to dry. Okay. After that, you're going to clean up. So when I'm just going to put clean, just in general, you're going to clean everything in your area, your supplies, your hands, your workstation, etc., etc. Okay, and then you're done. This usually is going to be typically, okay, when I say typically, it's typically, and sometimes more, sometimes less. This is a 15-minute service. So you want to write that down. Okay, 15 minutes. Okay, as we go along, any notes that you want to write down, please make sure to do so. Let me pop the light back on and then set up the station to get started. Okay, so I have my station, all my supplies set up here. I'm going to move these out of the way. Always want to make sure when your client walks in the door, especially now with how things are now, but we always have them wash their hands and sanitize. Okay, so you can show them to the dispensary or the restroom. And then we have hand sanitizer at our stations, at the nail stations, and we sanitize the client's hands and our hands as well. Okay, so we started off, we have our bowl, and it's a metal bowl to retain the warmth of the water. Okay, excuse me. Then we have our liner as a processing cap, like I said, but we're going to go ahead and put it in our bowl. Now, the reason why I started using the processing caps is just an extra layer of protection between the client and the bowl, and then also too to make sure that our supplies last a while. Let me tell you why. After a while, if you leave the water in the bowl for too long, or if you don't dry it correctly, it does get rusted. And then also too, the bowl gets a lot of scratches and things from the beads and such. So we can make our supplies last a long time. You put an extra layer of protection just in general, and it will look nice throughout all the services. So I took this bowl in particular because I found it in the dispensary, but if it has any markings at the bottom, it looks dirty, okay? Water spots, things of the sort. So you want to now I'm not sure if you can see it in the camera. You can probably see this little one here, but you can definitely, when you put this down and the client sees it, they're going to be like, oh wow, that's a little dirty. But it's actually, you know, just stained on here for the water sitting if the bowl isn't dried correctly. So you want to make sure to take care of all of that so your things last you a good while. Okay, so we put this here. Now, because it has the processing cap, the plastic does not mean you do not wash and sanitize your bowl afterwards. You still have to do that, okay? Not because of COVID, but that's just what we've always done. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and take my little squeezy bottle, and I have my warm water in here so it doesn't spill everywhere. I'm going to take my tube here, I'm going to pour it against my tube, and it sticks to my tube and it pours nicely instead of dripping all over the place. So I've got my water there. Okay, then I'm going to be using the Sanitize brand manicure bath tablets. Okay, in this particular container here we have the Everscent type. It smells pretty good. So instead of taking it from the baggie or dipping my big old fingers in here, I'm going to take my little bowl and I can pour it in nicely. So I have that there. My station is nice, neat, and cleaned up. I can also have my beads in a nice little container, or before I bring it to my client, I already have my beads in my container. If I bring this from the bowl, instead of having my squeezy bottle with water inside of it, I'll just bring it and set it down in front of my client like so. Okay, have my little towel over to the side. I'm going to take my tablet and I'm going to go ahead and pour it in. Okay, the tablet will get a little fizzy, and after a while, and you see the bubbles coming up, especially when the water is more warm. Right now it's a little cool because it's sat out for just a second, but you'll see the bubbles starting to come up and then your tablet's starting to disintegrate. So what you want to ask your client to do is to go ahead and put their hands in, and then they can use the beads and they can play with the beads instead of just kind of having their hands in the bowl. They can play with the beads and move them around. You make sure to tell them to move it around, and as they do so, they're also going to be moving the tablet, and in moving the tablet is going to begin to, and you can see it's a little sudsy there, it's going to start to dissolve. Okay, so the tablet doesn't take too long to dissolve. The water will start to turn a color or shade of blue. As you see, the tablet is blue, and the client will sit here and enjoy and relax. You want to have maybe a conversation with them. They're going to feel a nice lip. It's sanitizing their hands. It's moisturizing their hands, and it's also softening the cuticle for whenever you're going to do your manicure. Okay, so once you do that, I'm not gonna stay the whole entire time, but you make sure to do so. If you are going to leave your client, make sure that you leave them comfortable and relaxed, and make sure that they have everything that they need before you walk away from them. The bead does take a little bit, just like I said, so just make sure that you don't leave them sitting in here for too long past the recommended time of whatever the manufacturer says. Okay, so then you're going to take your bowl. Once you're done, you're going to have your client remove the hands. Okay, you take your bowl, you can put the bowl to the side, and then your towel you can lay out. Now, if you have a towel, and I brought this one specifically, take a look. Okay, this is a small hand towel, and both hands fit on it, and just put your hand down and you tap it over, and you're just perfect with this size towel. You can use a bigger size towel if you choose. This towel is clean except for it has stains on it. White towels need to be bleached, and white towels do not need to be used to remove hair color. You need dark towels to remove hair color so that it does not stain your towels. Okay, if you were to set this out for a client, you would say, oh wow, that's a dirty towel. No, it's not dirty, it's clean, it's just stained, and this is not professional looking. Okay, if they took a picture of this and posted it, no, okay, they would say, wow, where did you get your nails done, because I'm not going there. Okay, so please make sure to use take good care of the supplies, but also use good, fresh, crisp, clean towels. Okay, so you're going to dry the hands, and after you dry the hands, then you are done. Okay, so again, and I'm just going to pull this into view. You can see the water turning a little bit more blue, and you can see the soap suds, the fizzy, and the tablet is still fizzing out. Okay, once you're done, you're going to pour this in the sink. You're going to take this off. You're going to wash and sanitize and sterilize your beads. You're going to throw the liner away. You're going to wash, sanitize your bowl, and make sure you sanitize your working area afterwards with your barbicide disinfecting spray. And then you're going to put all your supplies away and wash your hands. So make sure you take a good notes of anything that you think you need to put on your journal, just to give you a little reminder for next time. And I hope you enjoy this service.